what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Ashleigh here. I've been living in Australia for almost 2.5 years now, and I feel like it's time for me to brush up on my Aussie slang. So first I'm going to pop over to one of my friends' channels. You might know her, Caitlin, or Kinda Australian. She's done a lot of great videos on Aussie slang, and being a fellow American like myself, I figured let's start there. So I feel like overall I've definitely gotten a lot better than I think the last time I did a slang video, which has been, I feel like years at this point, but I'll put it up here. There is still words that I have no idea what it means, and literally I heard one just the other day, uru or huru. I was told it coming from an American accent, it doesn't sound good at all, but then I was like, wait, didn't Finding Dory or Finding Nemo, what's his name? Marlin, the dad, saying uru or something to the birds? I can't remember. Also, Luna's here, my cat, so if you see her popping in and out of frame. Anyway, subscribe. Let's learn some Aussie slang today. But first, I'm super excited to say that BetterHelp is a sponsor of this video. I've been attending therapy for almost 10 years now, and I truly see the benefit that talking to someone can have. As you may or may not know, I struggled with anxiety for years, and mixed with moving internationally and being so far away from my family and friends in the United States, I'm beyond grateful to have had someone to talk to and help work through my thoughts throughout it. But I also know how hard it was to initially take that first step and ask for help. Finding the right therapist is super, super important. BetterHelp can help you connect to a licensed therapist, which you can do all from your phone or your computer. BetterHelp can give you an easy and super accessible way to try out therapy for yourself. To start, head to betterhelp.com/AshleighFaye, which is also linked at the top of the description. Or you can choose my channel name, Ashleigh Faye Vlogs, during sign up, and fill out the survey to begin therapy from the comfort of your own home. Thank you, BetterHelp. Also, please let me know down in the comments other words that you think I should learn, or how common or how often these words are even used in Australia.
Number one is having a whinge. I know this is also said in the UK, it's not just an Aussie thing, but having a whinge is a really funny way of hearing somebody talking about somebody else complaining.
Having a whinge, I feel like is quite common. I feel like I've heard that one a lot, and I feel like with context clues, that one isn't too bad.
Flat out, like a lizard drinking. So it's really common for Aussies.
Also, it's so funny hearing Caitlin's accent because I hear her words and I'm just like, some of her vowels are so different from mine, which is crazy because we grew up in states right next to each other. I'm from New Jersey, she's from Pennsylvania, over on the East Coast in the States. And the way she says out, flat out, it kind of sounds like Midwest, Minnesota, kind of. Anyway, that's a complete side note. I've heard flat out, but I haven't heard flat out. What was it, like a lizard?
You say that they're flat out, which means that.
Yeah, no, I've not heard like a lizard drinking bit. Why would a lizard be drinking? What is the context? Like, do people say the full, Luna, come on. Like, do people say the full statement? My cat is using my tripod as a scratching post. Luna, can we comment down, please? Do people say the full statement? Like, flat out like a lizard drinking, or is it just kind of assumed, or? Let's learn.
They're really busy. Let me tell you, I hear this one all the time at work, but it was only at the pub when I heard somebody say the full phrase, and I did not understand what the heck they were talking about. The full phrase is flat out like a lizard drinking.
Oh, okay, that makes sense, because I was like, I've heard people say flat out similarly, like it's super common here in Australia to say that like at work, or if you like reach out to a friend asking if they want to hang out and grab a coffee or something, and they're like, oh, I'm flat out at the moment. But yeah, no, like lizard drinking, I've not heard that one before.
Which, when you think about a lizard drinking, it seems very slow paced and kind of the opposite of being busy. But it is Australian, so I guess that is kind of the point, because sometimes, you know, yeah, nah, yeah, you hear some opposites kind of happening here in Australia when it comes to slang words.
That's a good point, actually, because I was like, why a lizard? I mean, I also feel like Australians do really, like a lot of their phrases just have a lot of animals or just words that I guess you wouldn't really expect in their slang. So, interesting.
But it is carrying on like a pork chop.
What?
Which kind of means that somebody is being over.
Does anyone actually say this? Please, please, I'm stopping the video. Does anyone actually, Australians, do you actually say this? Please explain, because this makes absolutely no sense. Carrying on like a pork chop, which is so funny because I'm sure America has so many weird random phrases, but also I feel like it's hard to compare the two because American media and TVs and movies are so prominent that I feel like it just comes up a lot more often. Oh my gosh. Okay, Caitlin, please explain because I'm confused.
Really dramatic. They're being over the top, they're carrying on, not quite throwing a tantrum like a little kid would, but they're being way extra, way over the top, way over dramatic. They're carrying on like a pork chop.
Like a pork chop.
It is a lifestyle here in Australia. It is a mindset. It is a way of thinking. She'll be right. I'm probably not saying that correctly because the way you're supposed to say it, it's supposed to come out as like one word, should be right. And Mark makes fun of me whenever I say stuff and it still comes across as super American after living here for 2 years.
Caitlin, I feel your pain. I've heard of the term before, but not really in person. Like, I feel like it's more of a meme thing, or maybe it just depends where in Australia you are. But I feel like people in my life more so use it as a meme or just to be sarcastic, but not actually like saying it because they actually mean to say it. Like, I get it, the term can be used in a sarcastic context, but I guess it's more so to like make fun of the term than actually saying the term. Like, she'll be right, she'll be all right, she'll be right. It just sounds weird in American accent. But I knew of it, but I don't really hear it that common at all. And yeah, do you say it often? Please let me know down in the comments because I don't really hear this one a lot. But again, it could be where you live. Like, I was in Tas for 2 years and then I've been in Melbourne just over 3 months now, which is quite crazy to think about that it's been that long. And I will show you more of this apartment and more life updates. So make sure you subscribe and maybe I'll put one of my latest vlogs up here to get more of a context on my life because sometimes I don't really know what's going on.
But she'll be right is basically this attitude of no matter how bad things are, no matter what's happening in life, things will work out.
So true. Like I was saying, I learned uru the other day. And again, it just randomly came up and my partner was like, I think it's like spelt hooroo, but you don't say the H or something. And he's like, it just sounds too American when you say it. So I just gave up. And I'm like, oh, well, that's fine.
Number 6 just sounds funny and it's you've got Buckley's, which basically means you have no chance. I've heard some people say you've got Buckley's chance, but for the most part, they don't say chance bar, it's just you've got Buckley's. So yeah, you think you're gonna win the lotto? You've got Buckley's. Think she's gonna say yes if you ask her out? You've got Buckley's.
I've only seen this one online. I think it was in my last video where I went through like lists online of Australian slang, but I've never heard one person use this. Hi, Luna. I've never heard one person use this in person or actually even online. Literally the only time I've ever heard it is with Google being like, oh yeah, Australians say this, but I've never actually heard someone say it. But I'm sure Caitlin's gonna get into it, but isn't it like, I think I remember someone saying it has to do with a convict or someone that like escaped and his name was something William Buckley or something like that. I don't know.
But this is mad as a cut snake.
Mad as a cut snake. This is another one where I've only seen it online on Google, like Australian slang lists, but I've never heard someone actually say it in person, which is why these sorts of things kind of confuse me because it's like, are these actually ever said, or is this just a random list on the internet to confuse foreigners? Because if so, it's working.
It means someone's kind of crazy, insane, a little over the top. Somebody says you're mad as a cut snake, that is not a compliment. That is not, no, I know I have to censor this for YouTube, but it's not like if somebody says you're a mad C word where that's actually kind of a compliment. No, that is not the case here. If you're mad as a cut snake, you've got a few screws loose, you're kind of insane.
Yeah, and then the other one she mentioned was we're not here to F spiders, which, again, I think I heard one person say it once in real life, and then it's just people on the internet being like, oh my gosh, have you heard of this slang? But then it's like, isn't slang if you actually use it? I don't know. Anyway.
The combination of yeah nah and nah yeah. So yeah nah is like no.
Yeah.
Yeah, N-A-H, nah. Yeah, nah is no.
Yeah, nah, yeah. That very common, used all of the time, used online, in person, all of the above. I would definitely say it's in the group of like quintessential Australian slang in my opinion. Very common in New Zealand as well. Yeah, just very, very common. Yeah, nah, yeah.
And nah, yeah is
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's whatever the last word is, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. That's so confusing. Yeah, nah, yeah.
Nah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's whatever the last one is. So yeah, nah is no, and nah, yeah is yeah. Or sometimes people are like, yeah, nah, yeah, like they'll kind of have a go with it.
Sorry, a phrase, but it's just the adding a Y on loads of like words. So cutesy language like bicky, chocky,
Yeah.
chocky bicky, facey.
Yeah, in Australia, like a Y or like something is added to the end of pretty much any word just to make it sound more fun, which I do think is really fun and really fun to say, and yeah, just have a laugh about it. But at the same time, if you're a foreigner trying to understand, like chalky bicky, okay, that's not too bad. But one of the girls I used to live with in Taj, shout out Emma, she would just do this like on the fly, and it would be to the point where I would have absolutely no idea what she was talking about. So yeah, very Australian. Interested to see what examples they use, but very much so it is like really fun if you know what's going on, but if you don't, it just confuses you more.
There's actually videos on YouTube where my boyfriend and his best friend are like, can you stop abbreviating everything?
Very true. When I first moved here, I was like, please stop abbreviating everything, because I'm just really confused. Like Australians very commonly will not only abbreviate like names, but they'll abbreviate like names of places, and they'll have nicknames for places or nicknames for things and then abbreviate those nicknames. So if you don't know the nickname and you don't know the place, you are just lost in sauce. And it took me quite a while, and it was actually quite overwhelming to try and understand, especially when I was stuck in the middle of a conversation for the first time with two Queenslanders. Two people from Queensland. I was absolutely lost.
I mean, I think it's ingenious.
Avo for brekkie?
Avo for brekkie.
Yeah, that's so Aussie.
Okay, brekkie is one that people have been like, oh yeah, it's Australian, but I don't know for say if it is or isn't, but we say brekkie all the time in the States. Same with avo, like avo on toast, brekkie, very normal. I don't know if Aussie came up with it first and then the States stole it. I don't know, but I would say brekkie is very common. Very common. Also something that like isn't really slang, but it's more so just become like a meme at this point is, I'm sure everyone knows the H2O meme, like clear, nar. And it's so funny because the amount of people that will reference that, like Australians will reference that here, especially like I feel like it sounds a lot more close to a Melbourne accent over a Taz accent. Like I find the Australian accent down in Tassie a bit more muted and subtle, whereas the first time I heard a mainland accent, I was very much overwhelmed, and it's a lot more twangy. Anyway, the amount of times that the H2O meme does come up, and it is brought up by Australians, makes me very happy, and I feel like I just have to end on that one. You can't top the H2O Cleo meme. Like that is just peak Australian. Anyway, I'll have all these videos linked down below. Wow, I think it's nice watching this and being like, okay, I know more of this than I did say 2 years ago, and that's, I guess, that's a step up. We're a step in the right direction. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to comment down below if you use this slang or how much of it you do use. Like, is it just, yeah, Google trying to throw foreigners off? Please let me know. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.